Chapter 9, Weapon of Choice. After waiting for Orga to finish crying, Kasha slowly spoke. Something like sleeping together. Why did you say such a thing? I'm sorry for worrying you. At any cost, I thought that I had to attract. Wiping away her tears, Orga gradually began to speak. The affair that cheated us and turned us into debt slaves. Ah, I'll never forget. The merchant of Vichy. Baravura. If I see him, I will absolutely kill him. Resentment welling up, Kasha gnashed her teeth and growled. Now Orga calmed her down. Phew. Sorry, Orga. I could not endure it on remembering. It's all right. I feel the same way. In the past, when Orga and Kasha were adventurers, they had accepted an escort commission from a trader called Baravura, who cheated them into owing a large amount of money. Though they tried desperately to repay it, Orga suffered from an injury, became unable to earn, and they were subsequently made debt slaves. But it is not possible to take revenge now that we are slaves. Excitement subsiding, Kasha quieted down. Orga placed her hand on Kasha's shoulder and clearly said, I have not given up on revenge. Different from usual, the intense emotion-laden words made Kasha look at Orga. Hifumi-san. Master is powerful. The fight earlier today, and if Master's story is true, called as a hero from a different world, the knights in the castle. Moreover, making an enemy of elites of the royalty. But, our enemies, whether Master will help or not. Therefore, I will persist in making Master's feelings turn towards me. The reason for Orga's strange aggressiveness today, Kasha finally understood. So that is the reason. I'm sorry, Orga, I didn't notice your resolution in facing Master. It's all right. I too did not consult with Kasha either under pressure. When Master quickly refused, after I cried, I became calm for a moment. Abruptly smiling, Orga said slightly ashamedly. Besides, Master isn't bad, I think. The bought items also, now don't feel too bad. TN, this sentence has a possible double meaning. She says, it doesn't feel so bad, where it can be the master or the items. I think. Now then, it's late, let's sleep soon. They stood up, and Orga crawled into the opposite bed. Orga's explosive statement for some reason made Kasha go dokidoki, and she did not sleep easily. Marquis Raglan was carried to the street of the hotel, then Hifumi entrusted everything to Paju and quickly went back to his room and slept. Incidentally, since the main entrance was locked and bolted, he climbed in from the window he had left from. The next morning, Hifumi woke up before sunrise, tended to his katana, finished his daily routine of stretches, and then sat in Seiza and meditated. Come to think of it, exactly 1 day ago I met those gods. Since then, various things have come about. Freed from the restraints of killing people, able to practice techniques to the extreme. Hifumi thought he was truly blessed. Living as a martial artist in the modern age was quite hard. It may be possible in a country at war, but in peaceful modern society, martial arts equaled violence. It was frowned upon for any martial artist to use techniques. Moreover, in case of death, they were blamed. Such a situation was indeed very vexing. Suddenly, a knocking sound was heard. Master, breakfast is ready. Orga's humble voice reached the other side of the door. Got it. Go on to the dining room before me. Certainly. We will wait. It's not particularly necessary to wait though, Hifumi thought as he adjusted his hakama and looked at his attire. He was still wearing his martial arts dogi and hakama from yesterday. I should look for a clothes shop, get the same thing made. Somehow, Hifumi did not want to wear the clothes from this world. Finishing breakfast, for the time being Hifumi paid the hotel fees for the day, and took Orga and Kasha to town again. We'll go to the guild today. If there is time, I want to go to a clothes shop. As for the Adventurers Guild, can anyone register? Yes. Though the registration fee is 5 silver coins, as long as there is no criminal record. Well, it's all right then. The matter in the castle is treated as legitimate self-defense. With Kasha as the guide, Hifumi was observing the town. As usual, the signboards could not be read, the literacy rate does not seem to be high. The signboards also had symbols and paintings carved in an easy-to-understand way. Be that as it may, I should quickly learn the characters to avoid problems in the future. Is there a bookstore here? On the way to the guild, there was no bookstore. We arrived. What's wrong? Kasha, it doesn't seem that there are shops selling books here. Hifumi, books. Only nobles or scholars read them. The conversation would shock a bibliophile. Just how low was the literacy rate? There seems to be no habit of reading for normal citizens. With the literacy rate this low, books can be seen as high-quality goods, and the chances of libraries existing is very low. A great method of information gathering is gone. Pulling himself together, Hifumi stepped into the guild. Unlike in novels, the bar and room is not combined as one. There were some counters in the back, tables for meeting were lined up along the left side wall. The notices were placed on a board on the right side wall. Several groups seated on the tables looked curiously at the unfamiliar face leading 2 women. The back counter, that treated as the reception. Origa, approaching the counter. Origa indicated Hifumi spoke to the woman sitting behind the counter. Have a minute? Yes. What can I help you with? The young woman who had long red, eye-catching hair answered with a smile. I want to register as a newcomer. How is that done? Our registration document was taken from us. When we became slaves, I don't think we get the same treatment as adventurers. To Kasha's words while shaking her head, the guild became noisy. Kasha, having become a slave, seemed to be shocking in its own way. Kasha is a slave, is it? Origa too has become a slave from an adventurer? Hearing that Origa too was a slave, the surroundings became even noisier. A man was staring at Hifumi with a bitter gaze. Origa seems to be popular. Of course, Hifumi was unconcerned with such gazes. Once registered as an adventurer, the registration card can be reissued. Since the slaves are doing the jobs, the owner has to pay a charge. 1 gold coin is necessary for reissue. A new registration is 5 silver coins. What do you want to do? On being asked this by the staff, Hifumi thought it was inconvenient without identification papers. Whatever, do not worry about the money. Reissue for 2. Though Hifumi one-sidedly decided it, Kasha and Origa's expressions softened. Watching them, the men's gazes became those full of jealousy. The few female adventurers repeatedly glanced at him. Somehow rumors about him started getting inflated. Then, please fill out this form. I will fill it. Is master's name as Hifumi-sama agreeable? Origa, hearing Origa call him master, as expected, was slightly gloomy, thought Hifumi. Full name is Hifumi Touno. To have a family name, was master a noble? In my hometown, generally everyone had a family name. Fyun. While filling in the age and weapons used, the name katana did not exist, so it was written as sword. A large man drew near to Hifumi. Oh, with those thin arms, you are not fit to be an adventurer. That stick-like thin sword? Such a thing, it won't even kill a goblin. Even though it was said with a heavy, intimidating air, Hifumi completely ignored the man. You too are younger than me? I thought Kasha was older than me. Though I did not hear your ages when I bought you too. You mean to say I look old? Kasha, your build seemed as though you were 17. Origa is 16. Because she is smaller, I thought she was younger. You. The large man was disregarded. Kasha and Origa's attention was on Hifumi. Seemingly unable to endure it, the man's face was flushed and grabbed the hilt of a huge sword corresponding to his huge body. You bastard, don't ignore me. Ignoring the man yet again, Hifumi turned towards the smiling staff member. Kasha and Origa seemed to know her too. Her name was Hera. I want to confirm something. Yes, what is it? What happens if I kill someone who pulls out their weapon and assaults me? Air. Asked as such, Hera reflexively looked at the large man, and returning her gaze to Hifumi answered in a fluster. With regards to weapons, it is not a crime if used in self-defense. The guild does not particularly question it either. What will you do? To Hera, who answered on tenterhooks, Hifumi smiled, thanked her, and turned towards the large man. Is that so? If you draw your weapon, I will kill. Choose. Obediently withdraw, or die. You bastard. Spitting out lines that seemed perfectly provocative, the guild became noisier in a very different way from before. The large man's name was Aku. In accordance with his appearance, he was strong, short-tempered, uncouth, and was recognized as competent. He got along with young men and gave out honest advice as well. The other adventurers thought the young man was a fool for having provoked the big shot Aku, and was overconfident in his power. However, one thing did not make sense to them. Origa and Kasha, who knew Aku's power, did not even try to stop the man who called himself Hifumi. Though I thought I'd teach you about the harsh reality, in a little while, I'll make it so that you won't be able to move. Saying so, Aku pulled out his greatsword and grasped it with both hands in an instant. Slipping out of its sheath, the katana was swung, from bottom to top. The katana that moved faster than anyone's words stopped above Aku's head. Silence fell. Though it felt like an eternity, a short time later, changes happened. You. Aku groaned, the last sound he ever made. His right hand was severed at the wrist, leaving the spine intact. He was cut open from groin to head. The greatsword fell, body pitching forward and collapsing. Aku's blood and entrails spilled out. Oh, Aku. Several men who seemed to be companions of Aku ran up to him, but no one faced Hifumi. According to Hera's explanation, though provoked, Aku was the first to draw his weapon. They are purely scared of Hifumi's power. It's been a while since I had this feeling of wanting to kill. No, since yesterday's interruption at the dojo. Still quite sharp. Not caring even a little bit about the opponent's state, Hifumi looked over his katana and returned it to its scabbard. Turning around, Hifumi smiled at the staff member, unnoticed put away his sword in the dark hole, retrieved gold and silver coins and placed them on the counter. I kept you waiting. Is this enough? Later on, Hera told a coworker that never before had she seen such a frightening smiling face.